We are Matt and Kiera Cousins. We've been members of First Southern most of our lives, and now we are your missionaries that First Southern has sent to serve at JARS.
Well, practicing gratitude is important because it's a commandment. I've learned to pay attention when God gives us a commandment because it's for our good. He has a plan in it, and it's going to produce fruit in our lives. If we can understand that practicing gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's something that we have to choose to do, that we have to be diligent and faithful to do. I have found that practicing gratitude in my life means that I am acknowledging who God is in my life and in my circumstances. It's not just that feeling that comes from, a happy moment or something good that happens. Gratitude happens throughout all of our life, in every circumstance. It's such a beautiful commandment because it's like God giving us a compass in our daily lives, in the things that we experience, in the hardships and the trials. God has given us a way to align our hearts and our minds with Him, tune our hearts to sing His praise. That's a way that we can do that, is by practicing gratitude.
Most Christians would be familiar with the first few verses of James. It says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials of many kinds." Paul also in many of his letters wrote and commanded those to rejoice always. And it's a critical theme through most of the New Testament is joy or rejoicing. And so for Kiera and I, as we've been walking a journey over the last 5 years in obedience to the calling that God's given us, there's been some difficult days. There's been days of unknowns. There's been days where we didn't know how we would make next month's house payment. And those were days that God was teaching us to be grateful, to have an attitude and being aligned with Him and His command in our lives to walk with thankfulness. And this thankfulness allows us to be in alignment with Him.
We went from, being new parents to just in a blink of an eye, we have 5 kids. And the last one was a surprise. And it was in the middle of a time where we were trying to go to the mission field. We were trying to pack up our house. We were dealing with transition after transition. I had the audacity to actually have a moment where I questioned God. I said, "Lord, have you seen our calendar? Do you know what we're doing? This is for you. Like, how you're going to add something extra to our plate?" And He said, just trust me.
About 3 years ago in 2019, before Kiera and I were sent out to go serve at JARS, we were in the midst of raising our support, and we had reached a point where we needed to walk in faith. We needed to take steps of obedience. And so I left my Air Force job to focus on the transition to raising support and going to JARS. And God then followed that by surprising us on a Sunday morning. Sitting in church, He very loudly told both of us to give our money away. And we argued with the Lord. I very specifically really challenged the Lord with, I don't know if you know what you're doing right now, Lord. And God was very adamant. He said, "No, give your money away." And so Kiera and I did. We walked in faith to trust Him in what seemed like total ridiculousness. We would not have seen His hand at work. And through that, we've been able to be thankful that when He says, "Hey, I need you to do this," we know that He will be faithful in how He takes care of us.
This is our gratitude, and this is why we choose to live a life of thankfulness.